Hi, I'm Jeff Gonzalez, president of Trident Concepts. I'm here with Brownells Daily Defense to talk to you about firearm safety rules. So over the last couple of months, we've seen an enormous amount of new gun owners. March saw about 2.5 million. April, we saw about 1.8 million. What does that mean? A lot of new guns in the hands of new owners. So with that, we want to make sure that we're covering some of the very basics, which are going to be safety rules. And there are really 4 universal safety rules. And the intention and the hope is that we change behavior so that when you're handling firearms at any point, that you're handling them safely. But not only that, anytime you're around other people that are handling firearms, that you are making sure that your safety is taken into consideration. So rule number 1 is probably the most important rule. All guns are always loaded. If you approach any firearm with this idea, you're going to treat it with much more respect. The second rule is always keep the muzzle pointed in a safe direction. So the question is, what is a safe direction? So we define a safe direction as a location that, should you fire a round, will cause minimal property damage and no injury or loss of life. So you really have to think, where am I pointing my firearm? This includes, where am I pointing my firearm in my home? Where am I pointing my firearm at maybe a range? And where you're pointing your firearm just anytime you're handling the firearm. The third rule is always keep your trigger finger on the home position until you're ready to fire. So first question is, what is a home position? So a home position is going to be the intersection between the top of the firearm, which is the slide, and the bottom of the firearm, which is the frame. Where those two come together is the intersection, or what we call home position. So anytime you are not firing the gun, or anytime you're handling the gun, your trigger finger needs to be on the home position. Now the second part to that equation is ready to fire. So how do we define being ready to fire? Well, first, you have to positively identify your target. The second thing is that once you've done that, we want to move the gun to the target. And then the last thing is that we want to make sure that we're looking at our sights. So that defines ready to fire. Now the last rule is always be sure of your target and what is beyond. So once deadly force has been authorized or justified, you're responsible for the final resting place of every projectile you fire, regardless. So if you're not sure of your target, then you probably shouldn't be using deadly force. Also, if you are shooting into things that are a little fuzzy or not absolutely clear, loud noises, scary things, you definitely want to be rethinking your ideas. When we talk about what's beyond, the key thing about that is to understand that, again, you're responsible for the final resting place of every projectile that you fire. So that means that you need to be thinking about what's behind the target. So if you can take these rules and integrate them into your daily handling of firearms, it's going to go a long way. What we're hoping for is that we set an example for other people to follow as far as safe gun ownership when it comes to handling these firearms. I'm Jeff Gonzalez. Please feel free to post any comments down below. Until then, take care and stay safe.